Hello, very good morning. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, okay. So there are so many other life cycle models also there, but all those one, as I said, like it's not important. But agile methodology is very important. So that one, what I do is like once we finish our manual testing, by the time you'll get very clear picture about testing process, different things, so many things, you will get very clear picture. So once we finish our manual testing, at the time I will explain you those things. Okay, you'll understand very clearly. Okay, so then spiral model, rapid application development model, those models not important, still we'll try to discuss. Okay, so but we'll discuss at the end of our manual testing. Okay, so then we can go for like uh, different types of testing, whatever you come across in your testing industry. Okay, there are normally two major different types you will come across. Those are nothing but like white box testing and black box testing. Okay, so white box testing and black box testing. So we go one by one in detail. White box testing. What do you mean by white box? So white box means internally what is there you should be aware of. Right? Exactly. Developers, once they come up with code, they themselves try to test their code, like to make sure how their code works. Right? So once they come up with code, they themselves trying to test their code. Means come up with some code, so I should be aware of like each and every instruction or each and every line you can consider as one line of code. LOC, the technical term you will use is like line of code. Okay, LOC. Okay, so each and every line of code I should be having very clear picture, like what exactly it will be doing, what is the logic I come up with, what is the structure I come up with, each and everything I should be having very clear picture, right? So that's why developers, once they come up with code, whatever they are testing, that kind of testing you can consider as white box testing. So the white box testing also you can consider as structural testing. Why? The structure of the code they are trying to validate. So the logic or the structure of the code they are trying to validate. So that's why the white box testing also you can consider as structural testing. Okay, also you can consider as structural testing. Opaque box testing or open box testing. So one box you are opened, so what is there within that box you should be aware of, right? Exactly, the code, what exactly it will be doing, they will be aware of. So opaque box testing, open box testing also you can consider as glass box testing. So white box testing, these many synonyms you can call as. So in white box testing, who will involve? Developers gets involved. So whatever we are going to discuss, that one normally with respect to developers, you never get a chance to get involved in doing white box testing. But as a tester, you should be aware of like what is white box testing. That is why you are trying to discuss here. Okay. Okay. So white box testing developers gets involved. So again divided into two different types. That is nothing but like unit testing and integration testing. White box testing again divided into two different subtypes. Those are nothing but like unit testing and integration testing. Okay, sorry I forgot to say yesterday whatever we discussed. Anybody having any questions before going further? No questions? Okay, fine, perfect. Okay, so uh, like unit testing means at a time whole application they cannot construct. So what they will do, they will divide into submodules into submodules into, like that so many models they will divide. and smallest independent component they will try to take, and they'll come up with implementation, right? So that smallest independent component you can consider as one unit. The smallest independent component you can consider as one unit. Okay, just a second. Okay, the smallest independent component you can consider as one unit. Okay, so once they come up, like Gmail, if you take in Gmail, the independent components you will come across like login, compose mail, inbox, outbox, sent mail, drafts, trash, each and everything you can consider as one independent component, right? So each and everything you can consider as unit. So once they come up with code, that unit they try to test themselves. So that's why that unit they are implementing, and another side they are testing. So that kind of testing you can consider as unit testing. Okay, that kind of testing you can consider as unit testing. Okay, so unit testing again divided into three subtypes. That is nothing but like execution testing, operations testing, and mutation testing. Okay, so three subtypes they were again divided: execution testing, operations testing, and mutation testing. We go one by one. So execution testing. So normally for any of the programming language, they will try to come up with code, right? So let us suppose very simple program, they have to come up with sum of two numbers, let us suppose. So what is the code they will come up with? So read A, read B, sum equal to A plus B, print sum. Okay, print sum. So this is the pseudo code, let us suppose any of the programming language. So you have to come up with sum of the two numbers, means this is the program you can come up with. Once I come up with code for sum of two numbers, I have to make sure whether this code works proper, right? So I will try to execute by passing some sample data. Like here I am trying to pass 3, 4. If I pass 3, 4, print if it's displaying 7, so my code is perfect. So once you come up with code, why you have to retest again? So in order to make sure two types of errors. What are those? Syntactic errors and logical errors. Any of the programming language, once you come up with code, you have to make sure, you have to test yourself to make sure to avoid two types of errors. Those are nothing but like syntactic errors and logical errors. Syntactic error is nothing but like both of us want to communicate some language we are using, but if it's having some words we are missing, or some grammar, or some we are not following, still we'll try to understand why we are having intelligence. But computer is machine, so the instructions you have to pass computer in such a manner like the understandable way, means exact syntax you have to follow, otherwise computer cannot understand. So normally C programming language, if you take sum equal to A plus B semicolon, each and every statement have to be end with semicolon. Let us suppose you were missed out semicolon, so computer give you like error like invalid syntax, syntactic error, or something like that. Okay, so you have to follow some syntax. So semicolon here you missed out, so at that point of time it will give you like syntactic error. Okay, so each and every statement you are given perfect, but sum equal to A minus b you are given, let us assume. Here sum you are mentioning, instead of plus you are given minus. According to the computer, okay, the syntax what it can understand you are passed, but instead of plus you are given minus. So that one, once you give like 3 comma 4, at that time if it's not returning 7, that means oh you will get no, instead of plus you are given minus. So there is something logical error, so you will realize and you will try to make sure your symbol. Okay, so this is nothing but like logical error. So instead of plus you are given minus, that is logical error. That one computer cannot catch it up. That one you only as a human being have to find out. Okay, so once you come up with code, you have to make sure these two types of errors. That is nothing but like logical and syntactic errors. Here you are trying to pass 3 comma 4. That one normally in our real life you can consider as sample data, but with respect to testing industry you can consider as test data. Okay, normally we can call it as sample data, but with respect to testing industry you can call as test data. Very very important. Okay, so for most other applications, whatever the test data you feel comfortable, some data you can take and you can validate. Okay, so that means like what are the test data you feel comfortable, you can take and you can validate. So that is nothing but like any sample data, any test data you can take and you can validate. But you are working for banking application, you have to make sure like transfer funds. So at that point of time you cannot take your sample data, right? So my point is here like if there is client specific test data, you don't want to worry, clients will provide at that point of time. Okay, clients will provide at the point of time. Okay, so that is nothing but like test data. Okay, so this is nothing but like unit testing again divided into 3 types: execution testing, operation testing and mutation testing. Okay. Okay, so once you come up with code, you will try to pass some test data and try to make sure how your code works. That means like whether your code is perfect or not. That one you can consider as execution testing. That one you can consider as execution testing. Execution testing divided into 3 subtypes. Here you are getting so many subtypes, but you don't want to get confused, and meanwhile all these subtypes you don't want to remember. What is execution testing, what is conditional coverage, what is integration testing, like that very high level. If you remember, that is enough, but you try to remember, sometimes it may helpful for you. 2-3 times if you refresh, then you can remember very easily. Okay, you can remember. Okay, so that is nothing but like execution testing. Execution testing again divided into 3 subtypes: conditional coverage, loops coverage and program techniques testing. Very high level, there are 2 types of testing you come across, I told, right? So black box testing and white box testing. So whatever we are discussing, each and everything comes under like white box testing. So execution testing again divided into 3 subtypes: conditional coverage, loops coverage and program techniques testing. Conditional coverage, let us suppose you have to find biggest of 2 numbers. If you are from any computers background, so a C or C++ you are aware of, then only you can understand this one. If you are not from computers background, we will be discussing each and everything in your VB scripting front. At the time you will get a very clear picture. So right now you try to understand the concept. Okay, very high level. So conditional coverage means like conditional statements, any of the programming language you will come up with. So here this one you can consider as conditional statement, like if A greater than B, then print A is big, else print B is big. So here depends on the condition means like two branch of statements you are passing. So if condition gets true, then it will get execute before else portion. If condition gets false, it will go it and execute after else portion. Okay, so depends on the condition, it will pick up one branch of statements and try to execute. Okay, so this one I will explain in detail during like VB scripting front. So as of now you can remember this is the stuff. Okay, this is the stuff. So this is nothing but like conditional coverage. Okay, so if a greater than b, then a is big. So 2 comma 3 you are passing. So a is 2, b is 3. So 2 greater than 3 false. Then print b is big. So 3 is big, it will display. Okay, so you are passed 2 comma 3, your execution is returning like 3. That means execution finished? No, execution not yet finished. Why? Whatever the test data you have taken, that test data is covering else portion, not first portion, right? So how do you make sure first branch of statement also correct? So what happened was you were copy pasted like print b is big. So you were forgot to change b to a. Let us assume at that time even 1 comma 0 you are passing, even at that time it will display like b is big, but that is wrong, right? So here if a greater than b, print b is big, else print b is big, you were given, let us suppose. So at that time 20 comma 10 you are passing, 20 for a, 10 for b. So if that is the case, it will display b is big, but that is wrong. So that means like the basic idea here is like in case you are using conditional statements in your program, okay, so you have to take test data in such a manner each and every branch should get execute at least once. In such a manner you have to take test data and have to validate. Okay, and have to validate. So that is nothing but like conditional coverage. So by chance developer is using conditional statements in his program, so each and every branch should get execute at least once. So before else and after else in this scenario should get execute. So two types of test data minimum he will take, and again those two sets of test data like in such a manner first branch should get execute at least once and next else portion should get execute at least. In such a manner he have to take test data and have to validate. So that is nothing but like conditional coverage. That is nothing but conditional coverage. Okay, so loops, you have to execute same set of statements again and again. At that point of time you can go for like loops, means also you can consider as iterative statements. Sorry, loops coverage also you can consider as iterative statements. Okay, means some single statement or set of statements you have to execute again and again. Okay, at that point of time you can go for like loops. Your name have to display 100 times. So normally what you have to do, print Rama, like that 100 times you have to use print statement. But another way is like for I equal to 1 to 100, print your name. It will very simply display 100 times. Or there are so many iterative statements you will come across. So during VB scripting I will explain in detail. As of now you can remember this is the stuff. Okay. So iterative statements, what it will do is until condition gets true or condition gets false, it will be executing those statements again and again repeatedly. It depends on the statement whatever you are using. So in this while statement, while is one kind of iterative statement you will get a chance to use in any of the programming language. So here if condition gets true, okay, it will go inside of the loop. So the concept of while statement is like whatever the statements got inserted in between while and w end, in between these two statements, whatever the statements you got put, all those statements gets execute if condition gets true. If condition is false, it will come out of the loop. As of now you can remember this is the stuff, okay. So if condition gets true, it will go inside of the loop and try to execute those statements. If condition is false, it will come out of the loop. That means like until condition gets false, it will get execute these two statements in this scenario. So I equal to 0 you are initialized. So your requirement is you have to display 1 to 100. So first initially I is having 0, 0 less than 100. Is it true or false? 0 less than 100 correct, right? So 0 equal to 0 plus 1, 1. Print 1. 1 less than 100, true or false? True, okay. So 1 plus 1, 2, print 2. 2 less than 100, true, okay. Then 2 plus 1, 3, print 3. 3, 4, 5, 99, okay. So I equal to 98, let us suppose. 98 less than 100, true. 98 plus 1, 99, print 99. 99 less than 100, right? So correct, true, it will come inside of the loop. So 99 plus 1, 100, print 100. 100 less than 100, true or false? False, okay. 100 is not less than 100, so the condition gets false, it will come out of the loop. Let us suppose by chance you were missed out this statement, okay. By chance, by mistake you were missed out that statement. What will happen? It will go and never terminate. It will never terminate. I equal to 0, I less than 0 less than 100, 0, 0 less than 100, 0. Your computer is on, power is there. Whole your lifetime also, it will never get terminated. So in case developer using conditional statements in his program, means like loops, okay. So he have to make sure those loops should be finite, should get terminate after finite number of steps. It should not be like infinite. So here in this scenario it's like infinite. So he had to make sure their loops are like infinite means like finite means he have to make sure like he have to test 2 points whether he used all increments properly or not. One point he have to make sure, another side whether he used conditions properly or not. Both of these two conditions he have to make sure and like check it up like whether the loops are finite or not. So that is nothing but like loops coverage. The idea is very simple here. So in case developer using loops means those loops should be finite, means they have to make sure all conditions he used properly or not and increments he used properly or not. Those 2 points he have to make sure. So that is nothing but like loops coverage, okay. So that is nothing but like loops coverage, okay. You have to implement one logic, one feature, like you want to display 100 numbers. How many ways, how many logics you can come up with? While statement whatever we discussed so far, or another way you can use print 1, print 2, print 3, print 100, okay. Print 100. So like that 100 statements you can use. or another way for statement, or another way until statement. Any one of these statements you can use. Let us suppose you are having two logics, while statement and use 100 statements. In between these two logics, which logic is better? Using while statement, right? So today you are recommended like display 100. Tomorrow your recommend is getting like you want to display 1 to 100. So then 100 statements you have to use. It's very hectic, right? So if you are using like while statement, very simple. Instead of 100, you can change it to 1000. It will get displayed 1000. So how much easy it is? So like that. While statement. So here like while coming up with one feature, there may be so many logics. So one company you are working with means there may be so many standards you could have seen, right? Like CMM level implementation, ISO certified company, Six Sigma, Fortune 500. Like that, so many are there. Whether so that means you are working for a specific company means you have to follow some standards. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so for implementing one feature there may be so many logics, so you have to make sure whether you come up with best logic or not. So that is nothing but like program techniques testing, whether you are come up with best logic or not. That is what you have to make sure. That is nothing but like program techniques testing. That is nothing but program techniques testing. Okay, so that is nothing but like execution testing. one technique is program techniques testing. Okay, so execution testing divided into three subtypes. That is nothing but conditional coverage, loops coverage, and program techniques testing. So conditional coverage is nothing but like you have to take test data in such a manner each and every branch of statement should get executed at least once. Loops means those loops should be finite, means you have to make sure all conditions he used properly or not, and all increments properly used or not. Then best logic, whether they were implemented or not, they have to make sure. That is nothing but like program techniques testing. White box testing divided into unit testing and integration testing. Unit testing again divided into three subtypes: execution testing, operations testing, and mutation testing. Execution testing again divided into three types. That is what we finished. Then we can go for like operations testing. You are taking one SIM. Any of the mobile phone you can use it up, right? Like Nokia, Sony Ericsson, Samsung, LG. Any of the mobile phone you can use it up, right? So that is nothing but like operations testing. Whatever the programming you are coming up with, whether that program works or supports multiple customer expected platforms or not. That is what you have to make sure. Means like whatever the code he is coming up with should work on multiple environments like Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, right? So all operating system environments it should support. So whether it's working on, that is what you will try to make sure. Okay, so that is nothing but like any of the company, they have to grow their business means they have to concentrate all platforms. One platform if they concentrate, you like Windows XP, I like Windows 7, somebody else may like Windows Vista. Okay, so they have to grow their business means they should concentrate all platforms, their application should work it out. So that is nothing but like operations testing. Okay, so multiple customer expected platforms, whether your mutation testing, any other programming language or your mathematics, he may get a chance to use like long expressions, right? Let us suppose this is the expression. So which operator it will get executed first? Is it star? No, not star. Divided by it will get executed first. How do you make sure? If you go your child is during your studies time, okay, So here you will try to follow some logic. Okay, so V bar mass, Venture bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Okay, let us suppose you were miswrote a parenthesis here. So which operator gets executed first? Off gets executed, means your result will get fail, wrong result it will give you. So like that, in case any of the programming language very long expression developer is using, whether he use all operators properly or not, he have to make sure, means he have to make sure. Okay, so that is nothing but like mutation testing. Mute is nothing but like single character. Single character is nothing but like plus, minus, star, division. Okay, these are nothing but like single characters. Okay, so any of the programming language you go for, like there are so many operators will come across. So all those operators, which operator needs to be executed first? For that one, you will come up with like one concept like hierarchy rules or precedence of operators, precedence rules. Okay, hierarchy rules or hierarchy of operators or precedence rules, you will see. Okay, so in detail you don't want, you just try to know like mutation testing. So whether in case developer is using very long expressions, whether he use all operators properly or not. That is what you will try to make sure. So that is nothing but like your mutation testing. Okay, so this is nothing but like your unit testing. Then one more you will come across. What is that? Integration testing. So whatever the application it is, each and every independent component, that means like independent units, they will take and they will try to implement. So once they implement units, those units should get integrated. Right, like compose mail and inbox, those two modules should interact each other. Exactly, registration and login, those two modules should interact each other. So in your Gmail application, if you go for, so which are the modules you are seeing, like compose mail, inbox, outbox, send mail, logout, all send mail, drops, trash, each and everything, like there should be a link from each and every independent unit to other unit. They should be having some link, right? Like whenever you compose a mail, it will go and store automatically into sent mail. That means like those two modules shouldn't attack each other. Exactly, whenever you delete a mail from inbox, it will go and store into trash. That means, okay, like that, from each and every independent unit to other unit, you should be having link, some relation. Okay, so integration testing is nothing but like whenever one module depends on other module, so those two modules are interacting each other or not. That is what you will try to measure. Best example, sorry, if you take like login and registration, registration is taken care by one person like X, login is taken care by Y. Login is very simple module, so Y guy already developed. Registration is little bit complex, right? So for developing is taking one more month extra time. Okay, one more month extra time is taken. So here my point is like you have to test login module, means login module depends on registration. You are the first time user, let us suppose. So without registering you cannot log into your application, right? So login is depends on registration, but login is already finished, registration is under construction. So you have to test login, means you have to wait for 1 month. It's like too much time wasting, right? Are there any other alternatives even this kind of situation to test? Yes, there are alternatives. Like During registration, what you will do normally, you will try to fill up first name, last name, age, date of birth, like present address, permanent address, like that. So many fields you will fill up and click on submit button. As soon as you click on submit button, it will go and store into your database, right, in backend. Okay, so but here registration module is under construction. So what you can do is you can go directly your database, and there you can use insert command for inserting the record, and what are the username and password there you are inserting, there you are using that username and password you can use for testing login functionality. So what is the process you are following here is like login is ready, registration is under construction, but login it depends on registration. So registration module is under construction. So instead of that, what you are doing, you are directly going to database, and there you are inserting one record and that username and password you are using for validating your login. So this is nothing but like your integration testing. Okay, so that means like temporarily you are looking for alternatives. Okay, temporarily you are passing data by using some temporary programs. This approach what you can consider as passing data through temporary programs. Okay, so temporary programs means whatever the way you feel comfortable you can use. There are so many ways you can pass data. Those are nothing but like Excel files, text files, INI files, XML or database. Whatever you feel comfortable in either of these ways you can pass data temporarily for testing purpose. Okay, so in your automation framework implementation you will be passing data in all of these ways. Okay, so at that time I will explain you like in detail how you can pass data temporarily. As of now you can remember this is the stuff. Okay, so this is nothing but like your integration testing. When one module depends on another module, so at that point of time for passing data temporarily you will use some alternative. So that is nothing but like passing data through temporary programs. Means like database or text files or INF files or Excel files. Okay, so this is nothing but like integration testing. Integration testing again divided into two subtypes. That is nothing but like top down approach and bottom up approach. Okay, so let us suppose top down approach. Top is nothing but like main module, right? So let us suppose main module divided into two sub modules like this. So main module is ready, sub module under construction. In this scenario, like login is main module, registration is sub module. Login already finished, main module already finished, sub module means registration is under construction. But login functionality you have to verify, so it depends on registration module. So main module depends on sub module. So at that time developer what he will use is temporarily he will use stub for passing data temporarily. So that is nothing but like stub he is considering. Okay, through stub he will try to pass data temporarily. Stub is nothing but like here passing temporary data through any of the way you say like database or XLS or XML or text files. Okay, or XLS. So that is nothing but like step. You'll try to pass data and you'll try to test your module. So this is nothing but like top down approach. So in top down approach for passing data temporarily they will use stub. Exactly bottom up approach. So bottom up approach is nothing but like it's just opposite. Okay, main module is under construction, submodule is ready. Best example, Gmail, if you take compose mail is main module, inbox, drafts, trash, sent out, all those one are submodules, right? So let us suppose compose mail and sent mail. Compose mail, once you compose a mail successfully, it will go and store automatically in sent mail. Okay, so at that point of time, compose mail is under construction, but sent mail is ready. Okay, that means like main module is under construction, submodule is ready, but main module, submodule depends on main module, sent mail depends on compose mail, right? So at that point of time, developer uses driver for passing data temporarily. Developer uses driver for passing data temporarily. Okay, so this one you can consider as like bottom up approach. So bottom up approach is nothing but like main module is under construction, sub module is ready, but sub module depends on main module. So at that time, developer using driver for passing data temporarily. Okay, don't get confused. Stub and driver both are nothing but like temporary programs. Only for differentiating purpose they are coming up with like the terminology. Okay, so in bottom up approach they are calling it a driver, and top down approach they are calling it a stub. Both are nothing but like temporary programs, like the way of passing data temporarily to your main program, to your programs. Okay, to validate the functionality. Okay. So this is nothing but like top down approach and bottom up approach. Okay, so one application if you take, there are so many levels you may get a chance to divide, right? So main modules into submodules into submodules, submodules into submodules, like that. So many levels you may get a chance to divide, but sometimes, okay, you may get a chance to use both at a time, like stub and driver. Sometimes you may come across, right? So at that point of time, you can go for like, you'll get a chance to use both at a time. That kind of approach you can consider as hybrid approach. That kind of approach you can consider as hybrid approach. Okay, so here it's not like you cannot understand the concept, but only the thing is, it's like confusion kind of stuff. Okay, to avoid confusion, I will tell you the simple logic. Remember here, first one is ready, second one is under construction. First one depends on second one. Very simple logic, like that you can remember. First one is ready, second one is under construction. First one depends on second one. Top means main module. So this is first one. So first one is ready. Second one is nothing but like down means sub module. Okay, so first one depends on second one. First one depends on second one. So main module depends on sub module. Okay, so at that time stub comes into picture. Exactly, bottom up. What is bottom up? So bottom means sub module. Bottom is sub module, up means main module. So first one is ready, right? So sub module is ready. Up one means main module second one under construction. So first one is depends on second one. So at that time driver comes into picture. Like that you can remember. In case if you get a chance to use both at a time, that kind of approach you can consider it as hybrid approach. So there are two types of testing, very high level you will come up with: white box testing and black box testing. So in white box testing, developers gets involved. So white box testing also you can consider as structural testing, glass box testing, opaque box testing, open box testing. Okay, so black box testing. So black box testing we'll see tomorrow. So in black box testing, testers will get involved. So in black box testing again, so many subtypes will come across. That one we'll try to see tomorrow. Okay, then white box testing again divided into two subtypes, unit testing and integration testing. Whole Gmail application at a time they cannot construct. So what they will do, they will divide into modules, modules into submodules, submodules into submodules. So each and every independent component you can consider as one unit. Once they come up with that unit, they themselves try to test their code. So that unit testing again divided into three subtypes. Okay, so white box testing high level divided into unit testing and integration testing. So unit testing divided into three subtypes: execution testing, operations testing and mutation testing. During execution testing, you have to remember main thing. Once you come up with code, you try to test your code by passing sample data. This sample data you can consider as technical term is like test data. Test data may be application specific or any test data you can take it up. Okay, for some applications clients will pass you. If it is like application specific, clients will pass it to you. Okay, so once you come up with code, you'll be passing some test data and you'll be executing to make sure. So that is nothing but like execution testing again divided into three types: conditional coverage. Okay, so whether those conditions properly used or not, you will try to make sure. So that means like conditions statements you are used, each and every branch of statements should get executed at least once. So that is nothing but like conditional coverage. Loops coverage, those loops should be finite, should not be infinite. So should be finite means those loops should get terminate after finite number of steps. So that is nothing but like loops coverage. Then program techniques testing you will come across. Program techniques testing is nothing but like whether you are implemented best logic or not. That is nothing but like program techniques testing. Then you will come across sorry, integration testing. Sorry, then you come across operations testing. So operations testing means whatever the code you are coming up with, that code should work on multiple customer expected platforms, whether your code is working or not in multiple environments like Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows Vista. So that is nothing but like operations testing. Very long expressions he used, whether he used all operators properly or not. That is what you have to make sure. So that is nothing but like operations testing. That is unit testing. Then you can go for like integration testing. When one module is ready, another module is under construction, but one module depends on another module. So at that time, for passing data temporarily, you will use some temporary program. So those temporary programs in top down approach you are calling it as stub, in bottom up approach you are calling it as driver. So passing data temporarily means you may use either database, you can pass through XLS files or text file or XML files or INF files. Okay, so that is nothing but like passing data temporarily. Okay, so sometimes you may get a chance to use both at a time, stub and driver. So that one you can consider as hybrid approach. Okay, so this is nothing but like your white box testing. Here you never get a chance to involve, but if you are aware of, you should be aware of, like still you should be aware of. So what is what? Okay, as a tester you should be aware of. Okay, any questions? No questions? Videos I already I already shared, right? I already shared, I believe. This is Padma. Sita, you got it. Oh, you haven't got? No, you haven't got. You have you subscribed? Okay, okay. Not email subscribe. Not email subscription. You go and subscribe. Okay. Join this group. That way you can try to subscribe. Okay. Yesterday I told, right? What you did yesterday? No, not that one. Another way. Just a second. Yeah, yeah, sure. I'm showing you. and you try to create your YouTube account, your YouTube ID try to share me. Okay, so sometime what happening is the video a group I try to create it, that one I'm trying to share with your Gmail ID means is not sharing. Okay, in your YouTube try to create a YouTube whatever the Gmail username and password you are using, the same you can use for YouTube also. Okay. Okay, let me check. Okay. Or join this group, you try to click on join this group. Okay, join this group here. If you have Gmail account, join this group. Here you have join this group, right? Once you navigate testing connect. Okay, so here once you click on join this group, it will navigate to this one. Okay, so if you have your Gmail account, Google, you can go for Google. Okay, once you go for Google, here it will ask you for your username and password. Okay, your Gmail username and password. If you have Yahoo, you can go for Yahoo. Okay, then once you click on sign in button, it will give you like done or something like that. Okay, so click on done button, just click on done button, just that's it. Okay, once you subscribe, your name gets up here, your name gets up here. Okay, then you can get access. Okay, so and okay, give me your Gmail email ID. Okay, I will share you. Okay, even Padma, you also follow the similar steps. I will share you. Okay, okay, yeah, that's my thanks for that. Okay, if you have any questions, any more questions? No. Okay, then that's my thanks for your time. Okay, tomorrow same time we'll meet up again. Okay, okay then, fine. Bye bye. Bye.